A study released by the Western Massachusetts Network to End Homelessness revealed that at one point in January of this year, there were 2,899 people documented as homeless in all 4 counties in the 413 area code. In part 1 of his 2-part series on homelessness in the 413, Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan takes a look at the issue of food insecurity in Hampshire and Hampden counties.
Winter in New England tends to show up ahead of schedule, sometimes unannounced and oftentimes uninvited. Also, it's the time of year that many of us who are fortunate enough to have a roof over our heads start to realize that there are other human beings in our community that aren't so lucky. And if we look hard enough, we may even stumble across where this invisible community does live. It's usually in the places that members of polite society dare not travel, on the riverbanks, in the back alleyways, near the train tracks, or under the overpass. The city of Springfield has the second highest ratio of homelessness in the state at roughly 5 for every 10,000 residents. But a camp like this one behind me can be found in just about any setting in the Commonwealth, whether it's rural or urban. And the people living in these places, well, they need the same things all living creatures need to survive: food, water, and proper shelter. Covering all things food and water is the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts in Hatfield. In 2017, this organization set a record when they distributed 11.6 million pounds of food to the 4 counties in the 413 area code, a number that's likely to be exceeded in 2018. Thanks to donations from some of the area's supermarket chains, food drives, as well as federal and state assistance, they've been filling up and emptying this warehouse to feed the most vulnerable among us since 1982. And it's not only bulk items that one might expect to find filling the shelves here.
In addition to all the canned foods that would typically come into a facility like this, we also work with a number of local farms here in the Pioneer Valley. They donate a lot of their produce to us. We also have partnerships with them where we purchase the food at a discounted rate so that we can keep fresh produce here coming in and out on a regular basis. We purchase produce from other parts of the region, other parts of the country, to make sure that all the food that's coming through here is nutritious and healthy and getting fresh produce into the hands of people that wouldn't typically have access to that type of food.
As is often the case with a nonprofit organization like this one, the use of volunteers is prevalent, and on a busy Monday morning, many of them can be found in the quality control room sorting and packing. Monday mornings tend to involve large shipments coming in, orders being put together, and eventually distributed to membership agencies in all points of the 413. Now, Northampton may not be considered by many as a community in need due to its hip and trendy metropolitan atmosphere, but ask anyone at their survival center there, and there's a different story being told.
The picture of hunger in this area is a little invisible, and most people don't think of Northampton as being a place that there's so many people who are hungry. But these are folks who are sitting next to you at church or at your synagogue, folks whose kids are hungry at school, they're sitting next to your kids. It may be the person who's stringing together 2 or 3 part-time jobs or a single parent. Sometimes it's loss of a wage earner through disability or illness. People from all walks of life who, for whatever reason, they're food insecure right now.
Serving roughly 4,200 clients throughout the year, the center operates on an annual budget of $736,000, much of which is taken in by way of grants and donations, large and small. Only a fraction of that money comes from the federal government, so fundraisers are a regular thing. As for the help, once again, volunteers rule the day. With enough on their roster to have at least one for every day of the year, these do-gooders run the gamut, from retirees to students to working folks with a few hours of free time. The center is open at different hours, Monday through Friday, and is run like a supermarket for those in need, with shelves that stay regularly stocked, thanks in large part to the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts.
We're their biggest shopper. We give out over 800,000 pounds of food a year, and many hundreds of thousands of pounds come from the food bank.
The Survival Center in Northampton is a pantry only in that they don't serve actual meals, but just about 15 miles south in the town of Chicopee is a place that does. Named after Lorraine Houle, the organization's first and only director, Lorraine's Soup Kitchen has been around since the early 1990s and has operated out of the Pendexter Ave facility since 2009. Lorraine services about 12% of the residents of Chicopee, and with a population of roughly 56,000, that comes out to just over 6,700 people. And just like the pantry in Northampton, This location runs Monday through Friday, daytime hours for the pantry, with the added bonus of serving meals in the evening from 4 to 6 p.m.
Even though we're a soup kitchen, we serve restaurant quality meals. Last night we had roasted ham and mashed potatoes with the fixings. We really try to keep the restaurant quality for our clients, so when they come in, they're not being shorted out on anything.
Despite the high numbers that do utilize Lorraine's services, Reyes feels that there are likely still many more out there who could benefit from the program, but don't because of the perceived societal stigma attached with being in need.
Many times people feel the need to explain a story as to why they're here at the pantry when there's no requirement to do so. We want people to come in and to know that they're gonna get help here.
In my quest to find out where the homeless got their food, I came to realize that many of the folks who use the services of these pantries were not actually homeless. In fact, many of them also had jobs. So rather than this being a celebration of the community-based social safety nets in place, it's more of an indictment on the economy and the decades of misguided policies that led to a population of working poor who, without these services, could be on the brink of starvation. And while many of us tend to make our food donations during the winter months, it's actually not even the most crucial time to do so.
There's this misconception that the holiday time is the time of year with the greatest need for emergency food, when in fact it's not. It's certainly nice to have an abundance of food at the holiday time, but it's really the summertime is the time of year with the greatest need. With kids out of school, they're no longer receiving the free lunches and breakfasts that they're getting in the classroom, and families are in need of filling a larger number of meals throughout the week. We'll see the sheer volume of visits at our member agencies increase dramatically in the summer months, so that really is the time of year with the largest need.